Hey y'all, you ready for another chat in the car? More errands today. Usual, usual mom days. Um, anyway, I hope that you guys are off to a good start today. It has been a busy one so far for me this morning, not because I really have got feel like I've got that much done, but uh, had a lot of appointments to do and things that needed to get done. I had to go to an eye appointment and see how my eyes are doing, and I passed. I always feel like I'm failing at those tests. 1 or 2, 3 or 4, and yeah, I don't like taking the eye test, the chart test either, because I'm like, goodness gracious, my eyes are not um, as good as I wish they were. So that is just one of those things that happens to some people. Genetics, that's a big part of it right now. But anyway, I hope you guys are off to a good start today. I was listening as I was going over here. I like to listen to audiobooks a lot. I read a lot, but I also like to listen to audiobooks because they help in that time when I'm doing something that I can't hold a book. So I like to have the balance of both. I like real books. I don't really like reading Kindle books that much, but the library is nice for being able to read a lot of books without spending a lot of money on them. So I do get the Kindle books or Libby books or whatever app you want to use to read books now a lot. But mostly I get my audiobooks from them because it's a great place, and audiobooks are kind of ridiculous. I know there's Audible, you can get all these different plans, but some months I listen to a ton of stuff, and then the next month I might not be able to listen to anything. So any kind of subscription plan like that is just not really the best option to be financially responsible. So I have been listening to a book on investing, and I just have I think this goes back to the whole idea of medium or slow and steady, and not trying to be the star of the show or the fastest person at anything. Because I have such a varied interest list. I mean, there's so many things that I like learning about. No, we are not wealthy and have tons of investments. It's something that I've wanted to do for a long time. If you're old enough, you remember Robert Kiyosaki and Rich Man, Poor Man, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and that whole philosophy of learning how to do well in the midst of whatever economy is there. And I always thought, I want to get into this options and shorts and trading and stuff, but we just didn't have the financial ability to do that for a long time. And now that I am a retired worker, because I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom, as my son, my oldest son, he was such a blessing to me a few days ago. Tangent. We were talking about that, and about how when I'm around a lot of other people who are quote unquote successful, and hearing their lists of things that they've done and what they're doing, and just all their accomplishments, how that sometimes can cause me to feel less than, or like a failure, like I haven't done all that I need to be doing to be a productive adult. And then I always like to observe too about how much posturing there is, even within people that supposedly love each other or like each other, that as soon as somebody says, oh, I've done this, then somebody else has to say, oh, I've done this. And then, there's just this ratcheting process that happens. And I've recently been around a lot of that with people that I love and care about. But I just was sitting there and going, like, do I need to participate in this? I feel like I don't want to participate in this. And I feel like a lot of the things that I would have to participate in this were in the past. So, they're probably not relevant anymore. Like, when do your past accomplishments become no longer relevant? And so I sat there and I was like, I don't really like this. I don't like this whole idea of us having to show I'm better than you, or I manage more stuff than you, or I, have a bigger budget than you at my work, and then trying to like decipher my feelings as I'm sitting there, because it starts making me feel anxious. Like I want to leave most of the time. Like I just want to opt out of this conversation. I don't want to be part of it, because my natural inclination as a competitive person, as somebody who likes a challenge, who likes overcoming a challenge and stuff, is to jump in there and be like, well, I've done this and this and this, and I know this and this and this. But what does it serve? Like, what are we trying to get out of that whole conversation? And so I've just been pondering that, and I brought it up to my son when we went on a long walk together yesterday. I'd been sitting in the car for a long time and driving back and forth to the city, and I said, oh yeah, let's go for a walk. It was hot and muggy as all get out because this time of year and humidity and all those wonderful things. But we ended up going for almost a 5-mile walk, 4 miles at least, maybe 5 miles. And every time it came to the juncture of like, we could turn back toward the house or we could keep going, we both were like, yeah, let's keep going, even though we're dying and there's no wind, there's nothing. But I was bringing this topic up to him because he had started it by talking about a company that he's reading. Goodness, lots of tangents here. Just hold on, it'll all tie up in the end. He was reading a book about a company that it has nothing to do with acting or anything like that, but one of the books that they had all of their new hires read was about improv and acting, and the reason behind that, just a little pamphlet, I think, like little 30-40 page pamphlet, not anything. Do you say pamphlet or pamphlet? I've always said pamphlet, but I've heard a lot of people say pamphlet. I don't know how that comes out with that, because it's PAMPH and PH is always F, I thought. So I don't know. You can put in the comments whether you go with pamphlet or pamphlet. But anyway, it was a pamphlet, and it's one of the required readings. It used to be a required reading for a company. And the reason that he was talking about it is because when you're acting, and everybody is kind of acting in life, every action that you have is trying to evoke a reaction from the person that you're interacting with. So whether you're an actor and you're playing off of it, like whose line is it anyway, or some of those other improv kind of things. You never know what's going to get thrown at you, so you have to react well to it. And so that's what the idea was here. Is if you're in a company and you're throwing out something, you're either trying to establish your dominance or your know-it-allness or whatever the thing is that you're wanting to get from this conversation. And the other person's response will either set it up for success or failure from your point of view, and maybe success or failure from their point of view. So if you go into something and you're doing this ratcheting thing, like I was talking about in the other conversation, you're trying to show your power over the other person, like your importance, your necessity to be valued more than the other person sitting at the table. And good relationships and good companies have found that doesn't lead to the best employee participation, employee idea generation, all of those kind of things. And so we want to approach our conversations with other people from a place of value. Like, they have value that they're bringing, I have value that I'm bringing. We don't know who's going to bring the best idea today, but if we set it up where everyone from the CEO to the newest hire from 2 days ago are on somewhat of an equal playing field, one person has to make the decision, of course, at the end of the day. But if they're coming into a room where, hey, we got this new product, we need to figure out what to do, how to launch it, what kind of customer are we looking for with this, all these kinds of things. I love business, by the way. Then you want good ideas, and you don't really care if it comes from the person who's been there for 20 years or the person who's been there for, like I said, the 2 days. Because if it's a good idea and you can start hashing it out and implementing it, then wow, good on you. You used all the resource that you had at your fingertips. But when you go into that meeting and you're like, I'm the CEO and this person is the head of this department, and so their word carries more than anybody else's here, well, you kind of shut down the conversation a lot. People are not going to be as willing to offer to be a part of the idea generation as they would be if you leave it open and you leave it full of value. Like, there's value from all of you here. I've hired each of you, or my team has hired each of you, because we believe that you bring something to the table, that you have something innately about you, whether it's your curiosity, your education, your, whatever, that we think is an asset to this team, and we want to utilize that to the best of our ability. Oh my goodness, there's some beautiful blue wildflowers alongside the road, and I don't know what they are. They don't look like bluebells. They don't look like larkspur anymore. I don't think any of that is out still, but they're just an absolutely gorgeous blue purple. I can't figure out what they are. Side note. But so when we have those conversations with people in real life, where it's just becoming this jockeying for position, it's all about power. And how do we interact with that? How do we live and generate good relationships from conversations that seem to always be about who has more value? And then what is that value based on? How much you make a year, how many projects you've worked on, how many people you have under you. The metrics are impossible to know if you don't have any standard. And so anyway, we were talking about that all, and I was saying how it makes me feel in those positions. And he was like, well, Mom, you just retired from your job. You got to retire from your job, and you get to be in retirement and love on your children and stuff. And I went, love that. I love that. I'm in retirement. I am in retirement, thankful to my husband, who provides well enough for us that I was able to retire from having to go to work for somebody else every day and do things according to their timeline and to their wishes and desires, instead of being able to pursue what is best for my family and our household and my little home business, right? Like the business of home. And so I'm adopting that. I am a retired person. And now that I'm at 50, I feel like I could actually say that, and it has some weight. So I'm loving that. So I'm loving my new retired status. I am retired from that. That doesn't mean I won't ever do anything business-wise or, marketing. That's a whole other story. We'll get into that some other time. But yeah, to be able to know that I retired from that part of my life into this part of my life, and I don't plan on ever not working or not being busy with my hands, my mind, my heart, all those things, because I think it's such a huge part of us being able to live a fulfilling life is to be busy and useful. So I will always be doing those things, and when my children are all grown and gone from the house, I will have to find other things. Maybe by then I'll have grandchildren, or who knows what the deal will be. But anyway, so how are we getting back to this? I told you I would tie it up in the end, and now maybe I've lost my train of thought. We'll see. So yes, this jockeying position and wanting to be in a place of power, and just learning all kinds of different things. And that was part of the whole, all these different books that I read and different things. Like it's one of those jokes that people say, but I am a jack of all trades and a master of none. And that can kind of sound, what is the right word? Ambivalent, or I don't know. I can't think of the word that I would want to say. Ambiguous, ambivalent, not focused. Because when you're trying to say, like, I can do lots of things, but nothing really well, I don't think that that's what that term means. And I've had to evaluate that a lot more, because, there are people who are extremely, extremely good at one thing. They're those hares. They're those people that are really, really good. They shoot to the top in this one area, and then people begin to follow them in all areas of their life, or trying to, let's say that they're so wonderful at this, so they must be wonderful at everything, which is not the case. So they're a master of one thing, but they might not be able to know how they could be the best biologist in the world, and they do all these things, but they might not be able to balance their checkbook. What is that? Is that a good value? Maybe, as long as they have hired people or family around them that can watch those things and help them keep on top of that, because that's what happens. Those sports stars and those musicians who get that big amount of money for their one good thing that they're good at, and then it all gets blown and they're left penniless and friendless most of the time, because people are your friends on your way up and very few of them stick by you on your way down. And so you have to either have people around you to help manage that well. Trustworthy and good-hearted, smart people to do those things. And if you don't, then you can end up losing it all for this one talent that got you, to the moon basically and back. And so, I've kind of worn that as that tag as a badge of kind of shame and pride simultaneously. I can learn anything, I can do anything, and I can be good at most things, but I've never found that one thing that I'm great at. I'm a good singer. I can do some parts of singing really well. Am I absolutely great? No, nope, I'm not. And there's no shame in that. Like, there aren't that many awesomely great singers all across the board on everything. Being able to sight read, compose, and I'm including all those things together because that's when I think of singing. I think of somebody who writes their own songs, a songwriter, singer, being able to be the whole package, right? So if somebody is only good at singing but can't write a song, can't read music, are they considered a well-rounded or a masterful musician? I don't know. What's the metric, right? So anyway, I've found lots of things through the years that I am good at and that I can do well. And some of them, if I applied myself diligently, I could probably be great at. But I lose desire, I lose focus, I lose the challenge. I haven't found anything that continues to challenge me over and over for years on end. I get bored with something. I want to move on to the next thing because there are so many things. And as I'm getting older, I'm realizing like half, 3/4 of the things that I'm interested in, I will never get to do. I've wanted to learn stained glass. Part of me thought I would enjoy being a doctor. I probably would. Part of it, I would. I love lawyering, like memorizing the law and then trying to figure out how to present a case and all those things. But first of all, I don't have the time to do all those things. I have no ability to be all those people because my primary role is to be a wife and a mom and a daughter and a friend and all those things. And so there won't be time for me to be all those things. And we have to pick and choose. And so is it such a bad thing to be a jack of all trades and a master of none? Is it a shameful thing, or is that kind of a badge of honor or a badge of life, right? And not being so concerned about excelling at this one thing beyond all others and above all other people. So if that's true, then we can approach every conversation, every interaction with people with grace and humility and love, and try and figure out what are the things that they're really good at, what are the things that they're excited about learning, what are the things that they're interested in, and what can I learn from them? Like how can I be benefited from this conversation? How can I benefit them? Like if they start talking about something that I have some knowledge of, maybe I'll be able to open a door that they didn't know about, and we can have an exchange of information without having to jockey for positions of power. And so that's what I'm trying to remember to do when I get into those times where I'm feeling a little angst. First of all, I'm going to remember I'm retired. I do not have to demand the attitude of better than or any of those things. I'm retired. I've already done all those things, and not because I'm better, but just I'm in a different place now, and I can rest on my laurels. I don't know. That's not really what I'm trying to do. But just have peace about this position in life and not get in the middle of that. And if those people want to keep power struggling between themselves and in the name of, I don't know, friendship, love, whatever they want to call it, I don't have to participate. I don't need to participate, and it doesn't diminish my value. It doesn't take away anything from what I have done in the past, what I'm doing now, what I will do in the future. And not everybody needs to know all your accomplishments, right? I mean, we shout it all out all the time now due to social media or just grandstanding in general. We shout it out, and just as much as we shout out all the garbage in our lives, right? Nobody needs to know all your garbage, and nobody needs to know all of your accolades either. I mean, choose a few people, share those things with them, your highs and your lows, and really, but as far as the whole world, or every time you have an interaction at a work function or a family reunion or anything like that, yeah, just hold a lot of those closely. Most of the time, they can't hear you when you talk about them because they're so busy thinking about themselves and what they're going to say next. So they're not even listening to you, and it can lead you to having self-doubt. So just don't participate. That's what I'm finding out. Don't participate, and don't feel bad about it, and don't mull it over for hours afterwards or days or whatever amount of time I've been known to do that for. So anyway, I hope that there was something of value in there today. Maybe it'll encourage you the next time you're in that conversation to think about, how am I interacting with this person? Am I trying to show that I'm better than, or am I feeling less than, or are we just being able to have a good conversation together and enjoy learning from each other and sharing with each other? And if that's what you're doing, great, good job, keep doing it. I'm working my way there. So just gonna end with the last thought. I was trying to figure out what I wanted to always impart from these videos, and I think that the biggest thing that I want people to know, if you ever meet me in person or you're watching my video, is I want you to know you matter. You matter. At the end of the day, that's it. You matter. Find those people who know that, who cherish who you are as a human, who don't make you feel less than, who just are constantly in your corner and encouraging you. So if you don't hear from anybody else today, I hope you know you matter and you are loved. Okay, you guys have a great day, and I will talk to you soon.